but Professor Utonium accidentally added a can of whoop-ass to the concoction.
All shows, no matter how good or bad, they all have something in common. They all started somewhere. But where? Some shows' origins are more surprising and complex than others. Today we'll be looking deep into the origins of 6 cartoons and on where they got their start before coming to show that most of us know them as today. I've done my research, I've found these shows on the internet, and let's just see how all these shows finally got their start and big break. This is 6 hidden origins of cartoons. Oh yeah, let's do this! Starting things off with probably the most known of the origins out of all the shows I have for you on this list. You guys all know the show My Life as a Teenage Robot, right?
Stop! You can't be serious.
No, we're not talking about those videos. That's just kinda nasty. We're going to stay out of that. Nah, the show we're talking about is the actual show of My Life as a Teenage Robot, when it first all started. But it did not first start in August of 2003 like somebody would like to believe. Yes, it was finally picked up by Nickelodeon in 2003 and made into a show, but My Life as a Teenage Robot first got the ball rolling a whole 4 years earlier, on January 5th of 1999, as a short named My Neighbor Was a Teenage Robot premiered on the show Oh Yeah Cartoons. The pilot was written and directed by Rob Rossetti, the same creator of My Life as a Teenage Robot, as its first official episode of the series would be very similar and almost a mirror image of the very same pilot shown 4 years ago, with some tweaks and changes to the characters and the art style. Yes, the new art style is a lot different, but the new shape appeal and the way the animation is drawn, plus with all the vibrant colors and the nice futuristic settings, the way the gloss of the animation comes off, it looks really cool. If you grew up in the late 2000s and were a fan of Nickelodeon, you may know the classic cartoon The Angry Beavers, a series that began on Nickelodeon in 1997 and lasted a whole 4 seasons for a total of a whole 63 episodes. The show was about 2 beavers, Dag and Norbert, living together and getting into lots of different crazy and wacky adventures, but sometimes getting on each other's nerves, but also showing much love for each other from time to time. The characters Dag and Norbert weren't always going to be designed as how we know of them as they look today. As seen in the cartoon, Daggett the brown beaver with the red nose, voiced by Richard Horvitz, the same voice actor for Invader Zim, while Norbert the yellow beaver was first by the creator in rough sketches and also found in this lost pilot named Snowbound, where it is seen that Norbert was going to also look just like Dag. Norbert was originally going to be an identical styled clone of Daggett, but this idea would later be scrapped by creator Mitch Schwaller, I don't know how to say that name, Schwuler, and co-producer Keith Kazurek, before premiering on Nickelodeon, and Norbert would be made to look a lot different from Dag, giving him a more of a smug look and to be a lot more furry and rugged. And ever since then, Norbert has retained his current design throughout the whole series, and the previous Norbert style was trashed forever. The Hi Puffy Amiyumi show, a show that didn't really get much love back when it was airing and kinda got lost in the shuffle in the mid-2000s. A show that premiered back in November of 2004 and only lasted for 2 years, but the show as a whole received mostly positive reviews from the viewers and fans around the world. The show was about 2 J-pop singer girls who would go around the world going on lots of different adventures while being on tour and playing concerts and getting in all kind of different shenanigans while trying to coexist with their fans. Ami being the more highly energetic, positive spirit of the two, and Yumi being the goth chick and usually being the more serious, down-to-earth, laid-back character of the group. Along traveling with them is Kaz, their middle-aged manager, as he tries to keep up on their crazy, weird antics and shenanigans and hopefully try not to get wrapped up in their problems that they end up in most of the time. With me being a big fan of the animation style and the way the show was drawn, it really had a nice appeal to it. But that wasn't the way the art style was supposed to be. It looked a lot different than what we're used to that we see now today. This is the way the pilot was supposed to look, before executives of the Cartoon Network took over and decided to change the animation of the show.
But we want you guys to play your music! not as cool as me.
But things might have turned out to look so much different if Hi Puffy Amiyumi had been picked up by a different network. Who knows what the animation could have ended up looking like. Hey, that's just something that makes you think.
Take us to Japan, please. Look, there is Japan.
A show named Hey Arnold, which has gotten so much praise over the years. Heck, it even got a movie to finally get released after 13 years of waiting. After the show ended in 2004, many going as far as declaring it as Nick's best cartoon. A statement not too far-fetched considering it had a lot of memorable characters, great writing, exciting and funny plots, and some very deep and heart-touching moments. A guy by the name of Craig Bartlett began his animation career making claymations for Sesame Street back in the year 1995. His claymation segments would last between a minute to 2 minutes long usually. The segments would be centered around a boy named Arnold, with adventures he would go on. And there were 3 segments Bartlett produced while being a claymation artist on Sesame Street.
Arnold? Hello, Arnold. Hello, Arnold. Hello, Arnold. Hello, Arnold.
Hey, it's starting to look familiar when you're looking at this animation. There were 3 segments that Craig Bartlett worked on while he was the animator and clay artist for Sesame Street. And they were The Arnold Waltz, Arnold Escapes from Church, and Arnold Rides a Chair. And as you can see, the character Arnold would be the main protagonist for Craig Bartlett's new show when it was finally pitched as a pilot for Nickelodeon in 1996. And the show was picked up and the show was renamed Hey Arnold. And now the rest of it is all history.
Oh, hi there. You scared the crap out of me. I'm Seth MacFarlane, Associate Production Coordinating Directorial Associate Managing Departmental Divisional Office Supervisor of the International Network Amalgamation Distributors Corporation Management Organizational Association of Men Who Like Pussy.
Creator Seth MacFarlane starred on many cartoon shorts in the late 1990s. He always had a strong passion to create cartoons and try to bring laughter to people with his witty and unique style of humor. In the year 1995, he continued writing, storyboarding, and animating while working on his own personal projects, such as The Life of Larry. At the time, he was also an animator and writer for the Hanna-Barbera Studios for several television series, including shows like Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Laboratory, and I Am Weasel, getting even more knowledge and experience under his belt to help him reach his main goal of creating his own personal original show. Here's some of the footage of the student film Seth made back in 1995.
This chemical dye is found in 95% of all cosmetic products. Diarrhea. What? Sorry. What is diarrhea?
And 4 years later, his pilot idea would be produced by Hanna-Barbera for the What a Cartoon series, and the short called Larry and Steve was finally made.
Crying out loud, is anyone listening?
Whoa, a dog that speaks English.
What?
You know, I once had a Jack Russell Terrier that spoke Dutch, but I couldn't understand a word he was saying.
Listen to me. If you don't get me out of here, I will be put to sleep. Are you listening? Do you understand me? You will be indirectly responsible for the resulting euthanasia.
In 1999 of that same year, Family Guy would be picked up by Fox, and we were given the birth of Family Guy. Depicting many similarities from his pilot, Larry and Steve, one could easily see that Seth would incorporate in Family Guy a lot of the similar jokes and a lot of the similar designs that he had in his pilot. Also like keeping Peter with a white button shirt, main character having the same similar Boston sounding accent, keeping a talking dog in the show, and the jokes and cutaway gags and zany humor also being present in his new show.
You guys have any Cheez-Its?
Honey, I think we should move.
Family Guy would go on for a good 3 seasons with a total of 50 episodes, before it ran to its little roadblock and short hiatus in 2001, and would return 4 years later in 2005 on May 1st. And ever since then, the series is going on strong even 13 years later, and the rest of how Family Guy became a culture phenomenon is now all history. The show, The Powerpuff Girls, was created by a man named Craig McCracken. It started off as a student project Craig was working on called Whoop-Ass Stew in 1992. Working alongside him on his project was his friend Gendy Tartakovsky. While attending the animation school of Cal Arts, Gendy, who would go on to produce shows like the likes of Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Star Wars Clone Wars, and recently become a main director for the trio of the Hotel Transylvania movies.
Wow.
Craig wanted nothing more than for his show to finally get its big break and have a chance of becoming a full series. And he would get that wish, and all he needed was this one opportunity.
Only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Craig's creation of the Whoop-Ass Girls would finally get their chance to debut on the What a Cartoon series, in which Craig also helped direct, which was a series of 48 short cartoons intended to return creative power to animators and artists alike, giving creators and animators that place where they needed to pitch and air their pilots and hoping them becoming a new series. Some of these shows would go on to be greenlit and premiere as an actual show. Shows like Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Mike Lou and Og, Sheep in the Big City, Whatever Happened to Robot Jones, Codename Kids Next Door, Grim and Evil, Negus XLR, Family Guy. They all started with the What a Cartoon series, and there would be one more show that would be added to that list, and it all started with this project made by Craig in 1992.
Thus, the Whoop-Ass Girls were born, using their ultra superpowers.
Now, the title had to be changed due to it being a little too obscene for young audiences, due to it containing the word whoop-ass. So this short was only shown in animation conventions. It was never aired publicly on television. And the title The Whoop-Ass Girls was changed over to the Powerpuff Girls as we know of them today. There are also two shorts that were made for the What a Cartoon series, Meet Fuzzy Lumpkins and Crime 101. And they were made as testing pilots to see what kind of reaction it would get from its viewers. And for the most part, it was a large amount of positive reviews. And Hanna-Barbera, working together with Cartoon Network, would go on to greenlight his TV show in 1998, and it went on for a whole 6 seasons before it was finally canceled in 2005. Craig has since then went on to create other popular shows such as Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and the series Wander Over Yonder. But Craig knows it was his creation of Whoop-Ass Stew made a whole 16 years ago that made it all happen, and his dreams of creating his own original cartoon series possible, and now the rest of it is all history.